There's gonna be a revolution to end this mass confusion. There's gotta be some restitution for the pain, for the pain. Oh, oh, oh. There has to be a revolution to end this mass confusion. There has to be a revolution in your heart. Can you hear me all right? Whoa, I didn't realize there were that many people early. Oh my gosh. Hello. It's almost time. It's like 4 minutes away, and I'll start it off, I guess. How about a little bit of color? Thank you. Oh, look. I do have a friend visiting today. I don't know if you can see him or not, or it, I should say, but he's there. Hi. I'm here. It's Friday, and it's Quarantine Stream number 26. I don't know what's going to happen, to be honest, because I just don't know what's going to happen. I have no idea what I'm doing. So, we'll see. Maybe I'll start with a video. Maybe I'll start with a video. But nah. Why start with a video? We have so much to do and so much to talk about. Oh, let's turn the lights on a little bit. There we go. Hi world. I hope you have your beverage of choice. I've got mine. And can you guys hear me okay? Just want to make sure you can hear me. Turn myself up. Oh, there we go. Brent Beast just said, Can any of us really say what we know, what or what we're doing? Ha! That was a twist right there. Yeah, who knows what the hell we're doing? The world doesn't know what we're doing. But I'll tell you something. This was going to be supposed to be an easy one for me. I was like, oh, this is going to be easy. It's distances. It was all me. As it's easy. I can talk about this one. It's not going to cause any, weirdness. No, man. Let me tell you, this stuff that I'm going to talk about tonight or bring up, it was pretty heavy. Going back and listening and looking through all the notes. I actually had to make myself a PDF. So, as I play stuff or show you things, feel free to make commentary and questions. I am actually here. Let me show you. So, I've got the little Mac right here, which is on the side, so I can look at your comments and all that stuff. And the main computer is over here, playing all the good stuff that I need to play. And studio's locked. So, yeah, that's the overhead. So, anyway. So, it was going to start so differently. I don't know what happened, but I guess it's because I was messing around with Reaktor and here, I'll show you something. So I was messing around with a device that I have, and as I was messing around, I got an idea for a song. So I was like, shit, the show's going to start in about half an hour, and now I've got an idea for a song. And this is what it's been like for me. I turn this stuff on, or I'm in the park, and I've been writing like a crazy person. But I'll get into that later. I think we should start with a song. So let's start with a proper song, and I'll even show you a visual. But before that, before we start with a visual, I want to introduce you guys to something that most people thought was photoshopped, but it wasn't. Oh. This is one heavy mofo. This is made of stone, okay? Stone. So it weighs a ton. And today, only today, it said I could show you its other side, which it doesn't like to show very often. That's its black side. Or blue side, or black and blue side. Oh, he's gonna hang out today, or it. It doesn't like me to say he or she. It has feelings. So, I'm not gonna get kicked off Facebook as long as I move around, or as long as you see stuff moving when stuff is playing. So, I have something planned here. Let's see. Let's play. Let's play Hello, and I'll play it with the overhead on, and we'll see if we get kicked off Facebook, okay? For those of you that are on Facebook. So there we are in the overhead, and let's play the song. There you are, standing near the buildings with a photograph burning in your hand. The ashes fell towards the pavement. It reminded me of snow. I thought hello. For a time, all I felt was indecision. Then the flash of your eyes, they synchronized with mine. Only for a second said hello. We'll create the world. Hello.
say hello. You might see everything. You might get a bit of nothing. How will you ever know unless you learn to live and say hello?
So, hello. So, in some universes, that's where the whole thing started, right? So, hi everyone. It's so nice to see all of you here. I see that I've got Facebook, I've got Twitch, I've got YouTube. Very happy. Periscope. That's a nice. I like seeing all the different ones. I'm going to be broadcasting from a lot more places coming soon. Because I don't know what's going to happen with the Facebook feed. Hopefully nothing. I did a little research and they don't like me to play videos, basically, but I don't care because that's part of the whole thing. So if I don't want to just sit here and go while I'm playing stuff. I don't know. It just feels weird. But it's been a really weird week. Let's start with the obvious because it's the the red elephant in the room. So yes, I did see the news last night and this morning. So I guess the president has corona now. So yeah, it's pretty crazy stuff. The world is just getting weirder. That's all I can say. It's getting weirder. So, but instead of I mean, that's so that you don't think I don't read the news or don't care. I do. I do read the news. I do get some consumption in, but very little these days. But okay. There's got to be a way for me to just like switch back and forth so I can look at this screen and not feel like I'm turning my back on the camera. But I think I can, actually. Ooh, look at that. Yeah, someone said maybe I need some more wine, or some wine. Well, let's just say that no creo que es una buena noche para el vino hoy. Bueno, no sé. So, we're here, and off to a rocky start there, but So let me tell you about this phase, because some of you are going to hear some songs and you're going to be like, what the hell is he playing? Which is a weird thing. So, all of last year, I tried to move distances over to Anything Box, and it was a disaster. I couldn't get it done. So, I'm telling you this news now so that you know what's happening. By the end of next week, there are 5 copies left of the CD that can be had via the Amazon or however it is that people can get the CD. I sent CD Baby, which was my distributor for that album, the last 5 copies that I'm going to send. And then I'm having it taken down. I'm going to take it down from Spotify. I'm taking it down from iTunes and all that. So it's going away. And the reason, here, let me show you. Let me see if I can pull that back up. And the reason is, as you can see, there's a different cover that you're looking at. And what I'm going to do is re-release it on Bandcamp as a download and the CD and a new postcard. That's the new cover, because I'm getting back into all the digital art stuff. And man, I have to tell you this because you don't know. Like, I wish I could show you. But this record was probably the most daunting album I ever recorded. It had so many firsts that it's not even funny, like all the different things that happened with this record. Number one, it's a record that I had to do by myself, because we had, well, should I tell this story? No, it's going to cause trouble. Do you want to cause trouble, Claude? Yeah, I guess you're going to cause trouble. Okay. I was talking to myself. I do that from time to time. Well, what happened with this record was I started to write most of the songs around the tail end of 2013. And I thought it was going to be a normal A-Box album, to be honest. I thought it was going to be a really easy one. I had 4 or 5 songs that I thought were very A-Box oriented. In fact, let me clear this up. They're all A-Box songs. It's just that I was entering a new phase, and I don't think everyone else was ready for it yet, but I digress. So what happened was we started touring a lot. We had gotten a new agent, so we were touring a lot. We were going to Peru. We had gone to Ecuador. We had done a really amazing show, actually, in La Oroya, which, do I see any Peruvians in the house? Yes, Lalo's here. Oh my God, so nice to see so many of you here. Thank you. I have Argentina in the house. I have Brazil. I've got Denver, El Paso. Jeez, this is awesome. And I even got a congratulations from my streaming service that said, hey, you got 100 messages. That's great. So anyway, back to the story. I digress. I'm sorry. I deviate uncontrollably sometimes. It's all in the brain. But yeah, so we had been doing a lot of touring. So that actually slowed things down. But I think around the tail end of 2013, I entered a slump. And I couldn't get out of it. It was one of those, like, I don't have anything but 5 songs, and I don't know where to go from here. And a lot of stuff was happening at the time. I was dealing with a couple of personal issues that a lot of you know about. It was a lot of crazy stuff going on. Well, one of the things that happened to kick me back into the idea of writing was that I was going to do a piece of art per day. That was one of the goals I had. I was going to start with painting. And I came up with these weird techniques that, they're not new techniques, but the way that I was applying them were new. So I started to do these weird paintings, and they turned into this series of 50 paintings. And as I was doing these paintings, this is what started to get the ball rolling and making songs happen. And the reason I'm bringing this story up is because it's a fractal. It's a fractal time thing. And I'm really a firm believer of fractal time because I'm living in another fractal time right now. I'm actually almost duplicating the entire process. But, again, I digress. What happened was that during that tour, I wrote even more songs. And the more I was painting, the more songs came. And then I was starting to get into trouble because I had a backlog and I still hadn't played any of these songs for the others. And it was going to become a bit of a mess. And I knew it was going to become a mess. So one day, I decided I would book a rehearsal room and I would play them all the songs I had so far, which I think at the time that I played them the songs, I had about 20 songs. And I booked a room and I played them the 20 songs. So they were like the audience and I was on stage just playing the songs. And I gave them like a little checklist, like, what do you think? Good, bad, not good, whatever. And the votes were really weird. It was sort of like, I won't name names, but it's just going to be like, I won't name names, but it was one of those weird moments where you realize that everything that you think you know about what you're doing is messed up. Because I had one side of the camp saying, let's do it. And the other was like, no, none of these will work. And so it was like really like a crazy vote. So we decided to reconvene, like I think it was 2 weeks later or something like that. And then by the time we reconvened, I had already decided I'm going to work on this record by myself. And I'm not going to worry about who gets to be on it, who's going to sing, who's not going to sing. I'm not going to worry about all that stuff. I'll politically take myself out of it. I figured I had enough material not to worry about it. So I actually considered calling it a diary album. But there was this little voice in the back of my head that kept saying, dude, this is a mistake. This is an A-Box album. What are you doing? Anyway. So, long story short, based on all those votes and the way that those meetings went, I started recording it as Claude. And then I did the pledge music thing to fund it so that I wouldn't have to use, any outside fund, basically. And that part was successful. I was really surprised. And it was spearheaded by the art. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to play a song that I think is like one of the singles on here. I don't know if Mikey's about, but if Mikey's about, it's one of his favorites anyway. But let's see, where am I here? Okay. So for a visual, I think I'll give you, we'll give you this one. That's your visual. And here we go.
As I write down these So let it go. So let it go. Ooh, let it go.
So some of the perks when I put that record together on the Pledge Music, which is gone by the way. Pledge Music actually died like a fiery death, like I think just months or a year after I was on it. So it was pretty crazy time. Um, so let me go back to that real quick. So I'm going to show you this. Let's see if I'm, yeah. So these drawings, they were drawings that I made for the album, and uh, got my hands really dirty. So yes, I'm talking over the slides. And this last shot, these were all cut up and they became these drawings that were given away. And then this thing right here, that's all the 16 albums that were pressed from the diary. So let me explain that because that was interesting. So that last shot, there was 16 of these things, and I painted on all 16 of them, and I had glued bits to it and all that. And inside is the diary album, Seven Sleepless Nights. So this was a limited edition, and that's the only one left, and it doesn't even belong to me. I'm sort of borrowing it. I didn't even keep one for myself, which is another bad habit that I have. I don't keep certain things for myself in the end. I don't even have one of the shirts that I made, one of the white ones. I really like those a lot, and I don't even have one. So, anyway, something's weird here. Oh, I see. Okay, sorry. Had to check the mic there. I'm just making sure you can hear me, right? Because no one said anything. I'm assuming you can hear me. But yeah, so Magda says from Twitch, I love handmade packaging. Me too. I'm going to do more of that because I think that's the right way to do it. So anyway, yeah, there was a lot of weird things that were part of this. And hold on, I have a link for you because I planned it this way. Sorry, I'm going to switch to overhead. It's just easier. Then that way you can see what I'm doing. We could turn those off too. So, here, let me grab this real quick. I'm just copying it over so you guys can see it. So, those are the all the CDs that were made, that were handmade. And these are all the drawings that were made during that time. There's quite a few. So honestly, I made a lot. I did a lot of drawing during that time. And what's interesting about the entire process, and this is why I'm talking about this today, is I didn't know what I was doing, or I wasn't aware of the technique I was using. Now I'm very well aware of it. It's a technique called anti-resistance. So I know how to do it now. But back then, I didn't really know what I was doing. I just knew or felt compelled to draw every day, even though I really didn't want to, or whatever the reason or the excuse was, I was going to force myself. What I didn't realize was that by doing that, you actually open the doors, and then you get to walk through those doors. And a lot of songs came out of it. So I was writing a lot. And, it's interesting. I was thinking about this today, and then I saw that I had posted the exact thought on Tumblr, which just goes to show you that your ideas can come back and you can, quote, fractalize them. So one of the things that I started doing this year was I was going to paint every morning, but this was already pre-planned. I was going to try every technique that's different, all these different things, right? And the end result was that I was able to come up with new songs by treading on I don't know how to say it. I guess the path less trodden, but at the same time where you feel comfortable, because you want to play music that you love, right? So I want to play electronic music, which is what I love. Um, but I don't want the constraints of, is it commercial? Like, is this going to be top 40? Like, all that kind of stuff out the window. So Distances was a lot like that. There was a lot of different types of material in that album. And the other thing, which I was gonna like try to play a lot of this for you, but I was too, it was just too much. Um, in 2013, um, if you ever followed my Tumblr, 2013, sorry, I'm pretty sure this is not catching me right. So in 2013, I think that sounds better. Or I need to get closer. This is actually a tighter mic, so less noisy, but I don't always hear myself the way I'm thinking I am. So there we go. I can hear myself. Okay. Um, uh-oh. Someone said link's not working. Whoops. Did I mess up? Sorry, let me try this again. Maybe they're not allowing links off the chat. Try that one. And try that one. See if that works. Um, I was pointing to the specific page, but it's Claude.works. But sometimes it's hard to get to that particular page, so I don't know. That site needs work. I'm just not into fixing it right now. But okay, but that's another story. So because I was working on Distances and because it was a Claude album, I had to create a whole new site for myself because the album was going to need a whole new site. So I made CloudWorks, which is funny because you guys remember the CloudWorks tape, which is really funny. Reference, right? It was referencing itself, but I digress. But anyway, so yes, I had to start a new site. The recording sessions were harder because I had no help. They were very difficult. It was in a new studio, which I wasn't used to. And I couldn't play really loud, kind of like now, but it was actually, it was a difficult time. But the cool thing was that I discovered a very particular instrument. Um, and some of the techniques that I'd worked on for a while uh, started to come out, which is I rediscovered Reaktor. Now, I had started to use Reaktor around Electrodelica, but back then it was sort of like get a weird sound, open Reaktor, find a weird sound, out, sample it, you're done. That was pretty much the extent of Reaktor during that era of ABOX. But I quite liked it. It wasn't until 2013 that I actually dove deep into Reaktor, where I just took time to learn more about it. And I will admit it got easier to use. With every version, they made it a lot easier. It's not like your normal digital synthesizer. I mean, it's, in my opinion, the best digital anything that I've ever had. So it's everything I've ever owned rolled into one. So for me, it's like gold. But the basics of it is anything that you see here, like, let me give you an example. You see this thing? So I bought this, and it's really nice. I mean, it's cool. It makes funky sounds, I think. Well, when it wants to make funky sounds. It doesn't want to make funky sounds now when I need it to. Anyway, it's a cool piece. It makes cool sounds, but I can't save anything. Every time I make something on it, or every time I patch something up, if I forget where a cable goes, the whole sound is gone. And I wrote a song on it, and it's taken me months to reconstruct the song that I wrote on this thing because I couldn't come back to the patch exactly how it had it. So that's frustrating. So what I did was I rebuilt it in my Reaktor. I just created the same thing, and now I have one that remembers everything. So same goes with my drum machines. So people always want to know, right? That drum machine I made. So I prefer making my own instruments now. So I just make my own things. So there's a gotcha for those that say, "Oh, I want to make sounds like you." Ha, got to learn how to make them now. So one of the things I really got into was Reaktor. So a lot of the weirder sounds, or the weirder songs, I should say, on Distances came from my direct experimentation with that instrument, and that continues to this day. Um, didn't stop me from making, happy songs, but anyway. But the thing that I forgot where I was going with all this because I'm supposed to play you a video. But anyway, the other thing that happened, which was crazy, was that I had gotten right back into film again, and I had bought my camera. And I started to take my camera at first just to shows. It was like, I'm going to film us so that I have some, footage of us playing. My idea was I was just going to make more live videos to put on YouTube for ABOX, And what wound up happening was that my brother wound up moving to Houston, and they needed, or they were moving from Houston back to California, actually, at the time. And they needed someone to drive their car from Houston back to California, going back to Cali, right? Sorry, I had to do that. But so stupid. so I jumped at the chance, and I took a flight out, and my goal was, they didn't care how long it took me to come back because it was going to take them about 7 days. So my idea was, I'm going to drive from Houston to California, but take all the back roads, all the crazy roads. And I'm just going to take my camera with me and photograph everything, make little films, and all this stuff was going to become fodder for art, films, and videos for Distances. Seems like a good idea, and it is a good idea. It turned out to be a good idea in the end. But what happened is I overwhelmed myself because now I had 40 folders of all these weird films that I didn't know what I was going to do with, number one. Too many songs to record because now I think it was up to 27 or 30 or something weird like that, and I didn't know what I was going to do with them. I was running the pledge campaign, and the band was touring. So it wasn't well planned. If I could do it all over again, I would never do it that way. In fact, my fractals come around, so I'm well aware of what I'm going to do now and how to do it. So that's cool that I got a handle on it now. But man, back then I thought I could pull it off. So I made a big mistake. The first was putting out the record with my own name. because nobody knows that it's an A-Box album, so nobody even knows it exists. Second thing was I had too many plans for videos and singles, so nothing got done. And it looked pretty bleak, although the recording of it was going well, and the pledge campaign was fantastic. But we'll get back to that. But I'm going to play you a rough of one video for the album that no one's ever seen. It was a rough, and it was supposed to go on the pledge campaign, but I just never did it. So this is from a song from 1985, which I re-recorded for Distances, called Descent. But here, I'll put it on videos. I want my MTV. I want my MTV. There we go. Sorry, messed that up. Let me fix that. It's gonna mess up again. We don't want to play that. Back to the TV. Thank you. Oh man. So yeah, if I turn my head and I go to type, I know I disappear. But it's actually meant to do that because if you only knew how noisy this room was, and look, I can just whisper and you can hear me and you can't hear anything else that's going on in here. I love it. Um, Someone said they're crying. Why are you crying? Um, so yeah, that was an old song, and yeah, this was the first true I'm going digital all the way. And it's a funny thing because I don't think of it as digital. That's the problem that I face all the time because I have friends who are like full blown synthesis and they're like, you got to have a modular this or you got to have, and I'm like, it doesn't work for me. That's the problem. It doesn't work. Um, like, I'm okay if I walk into a room. Let's say that I have a room. My friend John has which we'll talk about that in a minute. But my friend John, he has an amazing collection of synths. They're amazing. So of course, if I walked into his room and I was playing around, maybe I would write something. Of course I would. But the main difference is the main huge, and I mean this, it's a huge difference, especially right now, is that it still causes me to have to prepare things, meaning I have to record this part and now we're going to have to patch something else or I'm going to have to run some other thing and it takes me out of the picture. It's sort of like that. You ever been in a movie theater watching a movie and you're really into it and one of your friends gets up to go get popcorn or they got to go to the bathroom and you're like, you just took me out of the movie. You know what I'm talking about when someone takes you out of the thing you're in? Well, as time wore on with me, I found that owning pieces of hardware would take me out of the picture. I wouldn't feel like I was inside that movie or that thing that was being created in my head. And when I'm on a digital thing, it's very different because I have two completely different work ethics. One is preparation, which is I'm going to make a device. And when I make the device, it's already pre-planning in my head that this device is going to do this particular task and it's going to be wired or married to this other device that does a particular task.